Welcome in everybody to a special edition of the Coaches Show, February the 10th, 2012. I'm here with the head coach of the Granbury Pirates, Mr. Scotty Pugh. Coach Pugh, I appreciate you coming in today. We got lots to talk about. I mean, you know, it is off-season time, but it is not off-season for you guys. Y'all are just really in high stride this time of the year, getting ready for the upcoming season. There's been a lot of things that have developed, and we're just going to get right on into it, if you don't mind.
Hey, I love it. Glad to be back. Been missing the coaching show.
I'll tell you what, everybody has. I mean, we've gotten lots of requests that, you know, when you guys going to come back and that sort of thing. I know that everybody's excited about, you know, 2 seasons back-to-back by district playoff teams. And, you know, everybody's a little worried because we lost somebody very special. Let's talk with something that just happened the other day. Brandon Davis named to the All-State squad, and very deserving.
Oh, without a doubt. We're so proud of Brandon. You know, he has represented the Granbury Pirates and the community of Granbury extremely well. You know, again, you know, we feel like we're a little biased that he's been overlooked in some of the even as far back as the All District. You know, we felt like he was the MVP of the district, and you know, he wound up being the offensive MVP, and this is the first statewide recognition that he's gotten. But I made a statement yesterday that, you know, I feel like because of what he has done in this district, really puts him in an elite group of running backs in the state of Texas. And so very, very proud of him. You know, again, not to complain, but I feel like he could have been on the first or second team All-State. And but any recognition that he can get, he deserves. And you know, we hope this parlays into something for him on down the road.
Well, it should. You know, I have noticed that, you know, national letter signing has come, and several teams in the area that, in my opinion, weren't as talented as us have 4 or 5 guys in D1 and D2 schools, and some Granbury Pirates that you thought should be there haven't been named yet. So a little bit of a sliding, and we'll get back to that because I know that we have had redistricting, and redistricting is going to kind of help us in that field. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Let's stick with Brandon for a second. I wanted to mention this. Last year, 1,808 yards, 24 touchdowns. And not only that, he was just so vitally important to the team. And he did a lot of that with most of the teams keying on him solely.
Without a doubt, you know, and I think that, you know, speaks extremely highly of Brandon, that he is a 1,000-yard rusher 2 years in a row. And again, I don't know that it's from our standpoint, we see the improvement that he made from last year. He was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. To this year, he's an 1,800-yard rusher, but the big key is 24 touchdowns. You know, he's finishing runs off, he's breaking long runs, and I don't care where you are or who you're playing. 24 touchdowns is a bunch of touchdowns, and especially in our district against the type of speed and athletes that we play against, and so very, very impressive numbers for Brandon.
Exactly. You know, you think about some of the teams that you put on our schedule, and you think about the district that he played in, and you know, he emerged as a very, very big threat out of the backfield, catching the ball as well as running it. And you know, he's just what I consider a 5-tool player, and he just hustles on every play. It's a shame that some of these colleges have not, you know, clued into him and have gotten him that deal. I think that he'll wind up going somewhere and then moving on from there and doing some great things. He's just a talented young man.
Very, very. And you know, the thing that we know that not everybody knows is a great kid. You know, a solid student, does great in the classroom. He's the total package. And, you know, I think people are a little bit worried about his size. And I think that's kind of what's holding people up. But what I've tried to explain to him is this is all a process. You know, signing day has come and gone. The #1 recruit in the nation still has not signed. You know, that'll be a big dramatic thing. And it's just kind of a domino effect. Everybody kind of sees where everything falls out, and then when the dust settles, somebody's going to come along and go, hey, we're in trouble. We need a running back. And, you know, he's going to be there waiting.
And, you know, you think about it, too. You look at colleges around the landscape of the country, you look at pros even on that level, size at the running back position has gone to that smaller shiftier back that can actually block and catch the balls out of the backfield, and Brandon just tailor-made for it.
Well, there's no doubt, and I think that, as you mentioned, he's a complete running back. I think the thing that has happened in the recruiting process now is that it has started so early that, the big Division I schools are recruiting sophomores right now. Well, Brandon was a late bloomer. He really didn't figure out how good he could actually be until, really about midway through last year. And then dominated. I felt like in some ball games this year, in some key situations that we had to have him, just single-handedly took the game over. And so I think because of his late development, is maybe why he's not getting quite as much recognition right now. But I think it's coming, and we just got to be patient with that. And I tell people every day, college recruiters that I talk to, if somebody will just take a chance on him, they're going to be extremely happy with what they get.
Oh, most definitely. You cannot be let down with Brandon Davis, that's for sure. Now, some other seniors, the Shepherd twins, big loss for the team going into next year and trying to replace those two beasts. And but you think about them as well. Now, have they committed to anywhere?
They have not committed yet. They've got a couple of different offers out there, and they're just kind of waiting to see, the best offer. They're going to have a chance to go play without a doubt, both of them. And so, again, really proud of what they did. Both of them unanimous pick, all district, Johnny and all state selection. And so, the great thing for us is that these colleges that are talking to them are talking to them about playing either or.
Yeah.
And especially Johnny. Johnny had a great year, all district on both sides of the ball, and so they're very, very versatile. And those college teams like that. They can play them anywhere.
It kind of happened last year with a gentleman by the last name of Wright, Tyler Wright, going over to Charlton. Have we heard where he's going to play? Is he going to play safety or is he going to play receiver?
He's going to play an inside receiver. They play their inside guy, kind of like a flex, a split-out tight end, stand-up guy. And Tyler is, he was really, really frustrated early on that they were going to redshirt him. And now he's about 6'3", 235. And,
oh, wow.
I mean, just, a great-looking athlete right now. And so he's looking for big things to happen next year. And talked to Coach Fowler the other day, and and he didn't mind telling me that without a doubt he was the steal of the recruiting class last year.
Now you're keeping close tabs on Tyler Wright, I know, because eventually somewhere down along the lines he could probably be a coordinator or some kind of coach here at Granbury High School. Is that not right?
Oh, sure. I mean,
he's just that type of guy.
He is, and he'd make a great coach.
He would. He would. Comes from good stock. Clayton Adams, let's talk about him. We've been doing basketball rolling up for the boys, and Clayton, he's just a gym rat. I mean, he gets in there and does everything. And now he is committed somewhere, hasn't he?
He has not. He was close to committing. ACU had an offer out there, and he's gotten a couple of other offers right now that he's kind of weighing. That some of them are better than the ones he has right now. So he's still playing the waiting game, and which is, I tell him all the time, it's a good position to be in. You're in a win-win situation. You're going to play college football next year. Just be patient and let's see how it all pans out. But I'm really, really proud of Clayton. He's doing exactly what we want our kids to do. I think that he left us and went to the basketball court and didn't miss a beat. And he's had a great basketball season, played extremely well for them. And, hopefully we're going to have more and more of that happening. And he's been a great model for us in doing that.
And it's good when a player excels on another level somewhere. Brandon on the track team.
Oh, yeah.
He's just excelled year after year on the track team, and then he takes those skills that some of those skills that he learns from track, he's able to utilize that on the football field
without a doubt.
And even in basketball, you talk about physical and just so far as scheme wise. It really sharpens your mind a lot whenever you get into a football game.
There's no question, and we've seen it all year. You see Everman comes in, and their best three players, football guys.
Yep.
Two of them going to SMU and one of them going to Missouri, and You know, just it's fun to watch those guys when a loose ball, and you know, I mean, it's either Clayton or it's, you know, some of those guys that are just, you know, have that aggressive burst and they're going and getting it, and I tell you, it's been fun for me to watch. You know, all of our guys play, but especially Clayton get out there and mix it up, and he's done a great job. And you know, the thing we tell our kids, there's no substitute for, I don't care if you're playing tiddlywinks, putting on a uniform and playing against somebody else. And
Absolutely.
you know, without a doubt, off season is a necessity because, you know, not everybody can go do that. But if I had my ruthers, you know, I would love for us to go put on a uniform and compete, because like you said, you know, I mean, tonight Clayton's going to walk out there against Burleson and he's going to compete, and you can't flip that switch going against your own people.
Absolutely.
And, so I'm proud of him.
You know, not only that, not only skill set wise, the connotation of dumb jock is just about to disappear.
It really is.
Because if you look at the graduating seniors that are graduating this year that played football, you know, 4 years at Granbury High School, a lot of them are in the upper tier of the class, and that is just so exciting to see. Also, here recently, we just had some players announced to the academic all-state squad, and I want to mention them real quick. Quade Gibson, Brent Condit, Slade Boynton, Michael Horn, Nick Tull, who we all know, Dakota Morgan, and Tyler Jones. And that's a long list for all-state academic football. I tell you what, you got to be proud about that.
Without a doubt. You know, to me, and what we tell our kids is that is the ultimate award that we can receive, because that shows that those guys are the total package. They get it done. They compete in the classroom just as hard as they do on the field. They're the leaders of our school. They're the leaders of our football team. You know, I'm proud of that whole list, and that list has grown year by year.
Sure has.
And we're probably, you know, we're reaching close to 30 in the last 3 years that have made academic all-state. And you know, it's just Quade Gibson, for instance. Quade Gibson has he has applied to go to West Point next year. You know, there's guys on that list that all of them. You know, I think the great thing is that high school is a great time in their life. They enjoy it, but for these guys, it's not the end all. You know, I mean, they're looking for bigger and better things. They're
Absolutely.
moving on, and I think that list of guys right there could not be a better list to represent Granbury, Texas, coming out of high school.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I wanted to mention this. The teams that are selected for All-State Academic, this is very important, and I'm going to read this. The teams that are selected by a system that awards points on grade point average, class rank, and SAT and ACT score. Now, the student athletes are placed on teams according to the number of points that they have earned and criteria required by the nomination by a senior to be an overall GPA of 92 or above, and that is just phenomenal.
I'm telling you, it's scary to me to know that. Now, this is not saying a whole lot, but to know that there's a bunch of those kids that walk out there and are a lot smarter than I am, and I'm just glad I'm not teaching them in the classroom, because it is scary how sharp kids are these days. But I think the most impressive thing is how these guys balance. You know, they balance their academic work along with the enormous amount of hours that they spend on their, you know, on football and athletics. And so it's a credit to those guys, because, you know, that is the ultimate self-discipline that those guys are able to balance those things.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's got to make your job easier, to a sense that when you have kids that are that dedicated to the classroom and that are that bright, when you're getting into different systems and complicated formations and packages and that sort of thing, that they're able to grasp that on and you can move ahead.
Well, I think it's been the difference in us having, you know, some success, because, you know, I think our kids, a lot of times we outsmart the people we play. Very, very rarely do we ever out-athlete the people we play. But because of their work ethic, you know, we outsmart them and we outwork them. And so that group of kids right there, I mean, that's who we're trying to get everybody to kind of fall in there and be like.
And you've got to give kudos to the parents, because they help you set the perimeters so far as discipline. I mean, if you're disciplined and you're committed to a certain task, you're going to be able to commit it. And the parents have also followed through and bought into this program.
No doubt about it. And I think that's, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I think that's a huge advantage, along with our faculty and staff there at the high school. You know, it's a group accomplishment without a doubt, but you know, we have an academic all-state plaque. It's a huge plaque that we put right there in the foyer of the high school, and if you walk in the foyer, it's the first thing you see is our academic all-state guys on that plaque. And so we think it's that important, and you know, we hope this list continues to grow and grow and grow. We've had you know, you alluded to it earlier. I think out of the top 10 in the graduating class last year, senior-wise, 8 of them were athletes, boys or girls. And so I think on both sides, you know, we've got some extremely sharp kids that are in athletics and also doing a great job in the school building.
Sure are. Well, I'll tell you what, let's talk about it, because I know that a lot of people out there are just like me. They are just sitting on bated breath for this next season. What is going to happen for the Granbury Pirates coming into this 2012-2013 season? It's going to be right around the corner. Graduation coming up here in May, and I know that the preparation, the building blocks have already started, and redistricting was kind of I felt it was a blessing. Some people have kind of cursed it. There's mixed emotions out there about it, but let's get right into it. Y'all had redistricting. You're in what I call one of the Fort Worth super districts, because you get, 6 Fort Worth schools and Aledo, 3 straight 4A Division II state championships. 2 teams coming out of that 6 4A district that were 1 and 2 last year, Southwest and Arlington Heights. And, you know, we come in there as a playoff team. This is going to be another competitive district, but at the same time, a very profile district for the Pirates.
Without a doubt. David, I tell you, if anybody would have bet me that this was the way it was going to turn out, I would have lost a lot of money, because there was no predictions that this was going to happen. You know, everybody has their different you know, predictions of how it's going to turn out, and this scenario never came up in any of them, and I probably saw 10 to 15 different ones, and this one was never mentioned. And so you know, people asked me before we went in, hey, what do you think? I said, there's no way to guess with them. I mean, you never know, and you know, my statement all along was, hey, we're going to go where they put us, and we're going to play. And as you said, I think there's a lot of positives, there's a lot of negatives to going into this district. I think, in my mind, we're getting a lot more of exactly what we've been in. You know, some great athletes, you know, just going to different places. And so I think, you know, our kids are excited to see some different people, to play in a district with some different people. And, you know, and again, you know, I've made the statement all along that if we ever want to be the best, we've got to play the best. And you know, you mentioned it, there's nobody better than Aledo right now. And so, you know, I think that it's going to be a great district, very competitive, as you mentioned. You know, Fort Worth Southwest has been extremely good the last 3 or 4 years. Arlington Heights has been in the playoffs 5 years in a row. And made some good runs in there. And I think the misconception that some people have about, you know, Fort Worth Trimble Tech. Well, you look at Fort Worth Trimble Tech and you say, well, you know, I don't know how. Well, here's how I put it to our kids the other day. On signing day, on February the 1st, they had 8 kids sign to play college football. And so some very talented football teams, and not only football, but, you know, good gosh, you're talking about basketball and track and baseball. You know, so I think it's going to be a really competitive district, and we're glad to be there. I mean, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a huge challenge. I mean, there's no question. I don't think that somebody asked me, it wasn't a situation when it came out and it posted up on the board. There wasn't a sigh of relief by any means. I wasn't like, oh, good, this is going to be, it was, hey, it's going to be another tough challenge, just with some different people.
Time to get the work boots on,
That's
so
right.
to speak. And, let's talk about Aledo for a minute. It had to be a little bit comforting to know that the man-child, Jonathan Gray, has graduated along with that quarterback that they had. So Aledo, kind of like us, they're losing their quarterback, they're losing their running back. They've got guys that are going to step up in there and compete. And Aledo, with its history, especially recently, the last 10, 15 years, they're going to have those guys come up and step up.
Well, Aledo is where we want to get to. Aledo is without a doubt, they're an elite program, probably the elite program right now. So, they're in a situation when you have a program, they never rebuild, they just reload. And what a huge advantage they have in playing 15, 16 ball games every year and winning state championships. And, you can't help but be a part of that program and get a taste of it and want it again and again and again. And so, Coach Buchanan and his staff do a great job of that. So, like I said, again, we're playing people that we want to be like. And I don't think that can do anything but help us.
Absolutely. And you get in there, a wise guy once told me about 4 years ago, to be the best, you got to play the best. So that's why we put the tough guys on our schedule.
That's right.
I believe that was you.
And that's exactly the way we believe. And we've talked about it. I think this is it's just going to be different people, and I think our kids are looking forward to it.
Do you feel a little bit, do you think that it's a disadvantage or an advantage to those Fort Worth schools? All of them were in 6-4A last year, so they're kind of used to one another and the competition thereof. You and Aledo coming out from different districts, well, of course, 7-4A, y'all are the only lone remaining member from last year's 7-4A. Do y'all feel, though, that the Fort Worth schools have a little bit of an advantage because they know one another a little bit better?
I think so. There's no question they're very familiar with one another, and so that is going to be an advantage. And Aledo and us, neither one, really know much about any of them other than what we said. We know that there's some really good football teams that have really gotten good in the last 4 or 5 years, and so it's going to be a learning process. I think something that's going to be really a big change for us and Aledo will be the Thursday, Saturday, possibilities of playing those games, and I think it's just something that you adjust to, and it is what it is, and we'll go figure out how to do it the best we can do it.
There's no stopping it.
That's right.
It's going to happen.
That's exactly right.
And we're going to be there. Now, let's talk about our team, because I tell you, a lot of people have asked me, oh, David, what's going to happen? You lose Brandon. Nick Fotu, quarterback, did a fantastic job last year. Slade Boynton also coming in when Nick was injured, doing an admirable job, doing a great job, actually. You lose the Shepherd twins. I'm not bumming you out, am I?
No.
You lose Nick Tull. Of course, you lost him right before the playoff game.
That's right.
To a very serious injury, which he's, to his credit, overcoming.
Oh, and, yes.
Ulysses Weidman, who played tremendously well in that defensive backfield. Clayton Adams and Travis Ward, your top receivers. As a matter of fact, I've got over here from some of our stats, and so you're losing Nick and Slade, who were your quarterbacks last year. Brandon Davis, your leading rusher. Justice Love returning. Now, Justice Love, let's talk about him for a little bit, because last year, especially from what I could tell as the season developed, he became more and more and more active offensively and even defensively for the team. And is this the guy that's going to have a breakout year next year?
Well, we hope so. We thought it was a huge advantage that he got to be with Brandon and kind of grow up and learn some things from Brandon. And I tell you, the great thing about Justice is he is really more natural than Brandon. Brandon, had to work for everything and really had to develop. Justice, and I don't know if people know this about Justice, is a Golden Gloves boxer. And so he has a lot of natural athletic ability that that he's honing in, and he's getting some nice exposure right now because of his performance last year. He just got back last week he went to a USA trial in Austin, and there was 11 states, 207 athletes there, and he was voted the top running back at that tryout. And so he's getting some nice exposure that's helping his confidence. He's working extremely hard in the weight room right now, and as you said, he could have a breakout year and be something really, really fun to watch. And I don't think you ever replace a back like Brandon Davis, but I think Justice got to watch him and learn and be in the same backfield with him, and hopefully he takes some of those things and develops. Another guy that last year started really coming along, and I really enjoyed watching him on the football field last year because he was one of those five-tool guys that could do just about anything. But I also enjoyed watching him on the basketball court. And nobody on that team was more aggressive. That's the word I want to use. Aggressive and intense as Briley Wood. No doubt. I mean, he's a great kid to be around. He's always in a good mood. And he plays that way, and like you said, I think he was just developing into, what we're going to see him develop into this year, towards the end of the year. He, as you mentioned, he's very versatile and can play so many different places. He went from outside linebacker to a safety to a running back to a wide out to a quarterback to running back, and so he can do so many different things, and we're really excited to see how he develops. You lose Clayton Adams, your leading receiver from last year, Travis Horde, Connor Green, the Holy Trinity from last year, so to speak, receiving wise, and even Brandon was on that list. So you actually lose all four of your top receivers last year: Briley, Justice, Ayden Broadwater, Tyler Titus. Those were some of the other guys that did see some action receiving the ball. But coming back, let's talk about some of these guys. Now, I know I've heard a nasty rumor that Nick Dowdy may not play next year. Oh, is this a nasty rumor? Yeah, it's a nasty rumor. He tried to say that before this year, and could be the best that's ever come through here, without a doubt, and in both, in both football and basketball, without a doubt. And he's just a tremendous athlete, and we're looking forward to really getting to spend some time with him and see where he goes. But I think you alluded to it. I mean, for 2 years in a row now, we've graduated 37 seniors, and as you said, I was sitting over here crying for a little bit when you were talking about that, because for 2 years in a row now, we've lost some great seniors that are irreplaceable, that have been through the good and the bad, and they've laid the foundation for these guys coming. And it's going to be just like it was last year. There's going to be a ton of new faces out there, and I think that's the thing that we're going to have to get to early is getting those guys some experience. And it's the same thing we went through last year. Some good players, just lack of experience. They'll get that early, and then we'll see how they develop. And you know me, I like to play some of the name games, so let's kind of get into that, so to speak. Some of the faces that we might see out there on that football field working. Now, of course, last year at the playoff game, nobody, I think, was more excited when Ryan Suit came into the game for the Granbury Pirates, which, by the way, this is probably a good time to allude to this. We will be starting this Sunday, and moving forward, we will be broadcasting Pirate football games from this past season. We will start this Sunday with the playoff game at Floyd Casey Stadium in Waco. The Granbury Pirates went into the bi-district playoffs for the second straight year in a row, and you can see a little bit of Ryan Suit. And when he went in there, he wasn't a nervous freshman. He really wasn't, and that's we wanted him to get to walk on that field and get that experience. And there's going to be a great competition at quarterback. Ayden Broadwater has moved to the quarterback slot right now, and along with Ryan and Tyler Wilkins, Jake Blake, and so we've got about 4 guys working there right now. And Ryan's been in basketball, which is great, which is exactly where we want him. And he's had a great basketball season. That freshman bunch is Of course, they won the district in football, and they've also won in the district in basketball. And so, you know, a great group of young kids coming that we're excited to get out there with us.
So Ayden Broadwater moving over into the quarterback position, playing around there. He'll be a junior next year. This last year as a sophomore saw considerable time for the Pirates. That should help having somebody like that experienced on the field.
There's no substitute for experience, and Ayden is probably, you know, if not the best, probably one of the best top athletes that we have in the program, just overall athlete, and extremely smart kid, extremely composed. He has all the makings, you know, along with Ryan. Ryan also has all the makings of the, you know, the traits that you look for in a great leader and quarterback.
You know, something that when you go and you get into this super district we're fixing to enter into with the Fort Worth schools and Aledo, you're talking about some quick, fast teams. And to defend that, you have to have a defensive backfield that can really, really keep it together. And something that really excites me is two of the most improved players on my radar, so to speak, and I'll bet you agree with this, are going to return in that defensive backfield. And I'm talking about Quan Shaw and Trevor Lawrence, who both made big strides last year on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, they really did. And again, you're talking about, you know, both going to be seniors and experience and being able to teach some of those younger guys, hey, this is what it's really like. You know, there's no substitute for that. And Quan is having a great offseason right now. You know, I mean, the thing about Quan is, you know, he played last year at probably 120 pounds soaking wet.
Yep.
And, you know, he's starting to develop a little bit and getting a lot stronger. And you know, he started out in track doing really good. And so we look for great things out of him. But, again, you're talking about some guys back there that are going to be irreplaceable. I didn't mention a minute ago that Ulysses Weidman is going to East Texas Baptist to play.
Oh, great.
He'll continue his playing career.
Oh, yeah.
They came in and just, you know, loved his playmaking ability. And you know, so hopefully when we get all these guys decided where they're going, you know, we'll get them down here and have a big signing, and Ulysses will be one of those guys. But, you know, again, lack of experience in the secondary is probably where it shows up the most, because, you know, the way we describe it is there's no line behind the secondary. If they get behind the secondary, it's strike up the band for the other team. And so there's going to be some guys that go through some growing pains back there.
You know, I always like to put people under the gun on camera because it's so much fun for me to do it that way. So I'm going to do it. Next year, we have the opportunity to have some former Pirates that played for you that are going to be playing significant time on college teams. And so what I thought would be neat is if me and you can go to a couple of these games, get some film of these players, and then bring it back for the coaches show, have a little special segment there.
Sure.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I know a guy down there in Tarleton. It won't be a very far trip.
That's right.
We can go down there and we can get some film of him and some of these other guys. And East Texas Baptist University, they play in a very competitive conference. And he's if I know Ulysses like I know Ulysses, he's going to be a contributor right off the bat.
He will be, and I, you know, I think that's the thing that the staff at East Texas saw is they came in and visited with Ulysses and fell in love with him immediately, and just saw that he was, you know, not only a good player on the field but a great person and somebody that's going to fit into any program, and you know, they were lucky enough to jump on him early, and he went down there for a visit and loved everything about it, and so that's going to be fun to watch him continue his career.
Another position defensively on the football team next year that we should be strong at is linebacker, because we got a couple of seniors there that are going to tremendously help out. They did some very good things this past season. Nathan Urbanowski and Caleb Bendenwald. Mm-hmm. And would I be out of place to say that we can expect more of the same from those two gentlemen?
Yeah, I think without a doubt. You know, I think there was some guys, again, you know, when we lost Nick, it was a huge blow to us. There were some young guys that got to step in and got valuable experience when that happened. But I think, again, when you're talking about Nathan and Caleb, you know, probably the mainstay of our defense right now. Caleb, undersized, under speed, under everything, and just an overachiever. I mean, he just does a great job and probably has more guts and heart than any player I've ever been around. going to be the catcher in baseball right now, you know, down there doing exactly what we want him to do, playing something else and going and competing. And then Nathan's having a great off season, getting bigger, getting stronger. Look for great things out of him. So those two guys, you know, along with Ashton Goodson and Zach Patterson and some of those, and Patrick Cronin, young guy that got to play a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
When you know, when Nick went down, and you know, probably have more experience right there in that spot than we do anywhere coming back.
And a little bit quicker, too. And, again, that'll help us in this very fast pace. You know, I had brothers. You know, my little broadcast buddy, Donnie Wood, he's, you know, when I played ball, I was the oldest.
Soccer games now.
Well, he does do some of that.
Yeah.
He does do some of that. As Donnie played, you know, being a younger brother of, you know, such a
hard to follow.
Gifted athlete.
Yeah.
He seemed to excel, though, once I got out of the way, because he became starting safety on the football team and did some really good things there. His senior year, I remember I would go there in my little Marine Corps outfit, and I would go watch his games, and he was just all over the place. And I was thinking, man, I didn't see this when I was around. That should help Juan Gutierrez, I think.
Without a doubt.
Because his brother's graduated. We're going to lose him, but we gain the younger brother. And I really saw big strides out of him latter part of the season especially.
No question. Juan's probably the strongest kid we have in the program right now. He's competing in powerlifting and going to the meets, and I mean, just really doing good. And again, you know, like you said, sometimes that's tough to follow big brother and you know, the comparisons but at the same time, I think Jonas helped Juan a bunch being together and helped him grow up. But Juan can be as good as we've had on the defensive line at any time. And so, you know, and I think that's a huge challenge to Juan. You know, Jonas being undersized and being an all-district player in that district at a nose guard, you know, I think that's what Juan has his eyes on right now.
Now, will Juan play specifically defense, or is he going to move a little bit and play some of that offensive tackle?
He's going to have a chance to play a lot of offense. And you know, again, a very, very athletic big man that runs well, strong. I mean, just strong as they come. And so we're going to ask him to do a lot. I mean, he's going to be on the field a bunch, and you know, I think he'll welcome that challenge.
One of our strongest defense players last year had to be his counterpart, defensive end, and that would be Micah Smith. He'll be a senior next year. I know he'll probably be one of the biggest recruited defensive players from our team. Let's talk about him. How much bigger? Is he getting any bigger, or is he?
You know, he is. He's getting bigger. He's really, you know, doing some good things right now. And if he will stay the course, has a chance to be maybe one of the top recruited players in the state of Texas next year. And he fits the mold. You know, he's 6'5", 260 right now, and just you know, he's an animal. And so we hope good things are to come for Micah.
You know, it's always been hard for me to get the little diamonds that you sometimes stow away from me a little bit. But let's talk about some of these upcomers, some maybe new names that I don't have on this list that you might want to talk about.
Well, I think that that freshman class to be sophomores I mean, they've got some really, really good skill kids that we mentioned earlier. You know, they've got a little slot back, running back, Evan Sledge, that does a great job. Thomas Weaver does a great job catching the ball. I mean, you could just go on and on about those guys. Now, they've got some linemen in that bunch also that, you know, again, lack of experience right now, which is understandable, but they're going to develop that, and they are working their tails off right now in the off season, and so I look for some, you know, there's going to be some nice competition in some areas, and I think that's where we're trying to hit. I mean, you know, in a program right now, a good, healthy competition is good for us, and so we're going to see how it develops.
Oh, absolutely! It's very, very exciting. Going in right now, you're in your off-season program. You're building up. You're getting ready. You know who your opponents are, and we also know who our opponents are for our non-district schedule. Do you want to give us those names? I know Wichita Falls was one of them, and then a couple of others.
Yeah, and as I was sitting here thinking just a minute ago, another young kid that I failed to mention was Jacob Rose that
oh, yes.
kicked for us, you know, in the playoff game and got a little time. And He's playing basketball, doing a great job. But there's a lot of those kids that we're excited about. As you mentioned, we'll scrimmage Stephenville again. We'll go to Stephenville and scrimmage there at Tarleton.
A little 3A school?
Yeah. I didn't say that. You said it. But that's always a great scrimmage for us because, year in and year out, they're extremely good, and it's a great measuring stick for us and to see where we are and where we need to get to because they'll tell you in a hurry. Then 0 week, we play Wichita Falls High here, which is a perennial great team out of the Wichita Falls area, a 4A team, and it'll be a huge challenge jumping right out there off the bat.
Now, that'll be at home. On 0 week. We'll be right here at Pirate Stadium, Wichita Falls Rider. We need to pack those seats.
Without a doubt. I mean, and I would expect nothing less. I mean, our fans have done a great job of that, and we look forward to them continuing that. So that'll be a fun matchup because it's something that we were looking for. It's somebody that nobody's real familiar with around here. We wanted to get out and see some different people. And again, Coach Lavender, they do a great job, and they're good year in and year out. And so it'll be a huge challenge right there from the get-go for us. And we'll follow them up. Week 1, we'll play Fort Worth Northside in Fort Worth. Which we feel like is going to be a really good game for us heading into the district because it's something that we haven't done. We haven't gone into Fort Worth and
that'll get you ready. To get used to going to Fort Worth.
That's exactly right. So we'll look forward to that. That'll be a good matchup. And then again, somebody that will come back week 2, the third ball game. And play somebody that we're not familiar with and that actually nobody knows anything about, but we'll play the New Mansfield school, Mansfield Lake Ridge, who will be they'll be a 4A school in that New Mansfield district, and extremely talented, as we well know from playing the Mansfield schools in the district, and they'll have the same type athletes, and so that'll be a huge challenge for us going into an open week before we start the district.
Now, is that game against Mansfield?
That will be here.
That will be here. It's Mansfield
Lake Ridge.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you something. Doesn't it always kind of confuse you that Mansfield opens up these new schools every so many years and they're automatically 4A?
Yeah, it's a pretty good indication how fast that place is growing. And I've said many times that I would rival the Mansfield, Arlington area school districts per capita having, as good, if not better, athletes than anybody in the state of Texas.
And that'll be here.
That'll be here.
That game will be here. So we got 2 non-conference games here. Then we have the one in the middle over in Fort Worth, which will be a good one. Do we know who we open up with and who we close in district?
Well, we don't know yet.
They haven't set that up yet?
They have not set it up, and they have until the 23rd of this month until that is official.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's going to be fun. Of course, we'll get that updated here for you folks on some upcoming coaches shows. Of course, Coach is going to bring in some players. Once they do commit, we'll have a big special show, which we'll do that right here. And then as things develop and go along to the season. Now, before I let you out of here, biggest strength right now for the Granbury Pirates football season coming into next year?
Unity. I mean, I think that we're where our biggest strength right now, when we first got here, was our biggest weakness, and I think that's really made a nice turn, and our guys understand that never ever are we gonna walk on the field and be better athletically than anybody, but as a group, we're having a chance to beat some people that are better than we are, and our guys are working that way right now.
The thing that you have to work on the most from now to the time we kick that ball off?
Well, and really can't do it, but without a doubt, I mean, the thing that we've got to work on the most is experience. And we've got to put our guys in situations, high pressure situations, high intensity situations, and try to simulate what it's going to be like on Friday night, because so many of them haven't been there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I tell you what, with that talented freshman group coming up to be sophomores next year, some of the players that played for you for the last couple of years that are now getting to be that senior, getting to be that junior, that are going to be taking on roles of leadership on the team, I see nothing but bright skies ahead for the Granbury High School football team.
We're excited, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you what. Now, you can catch the Magic every Sunday at 2 o'clock. You want to tune in to Channel 27 or AT&T UVerse. That will be Channel 99. You can also catch us anytime, when you want it, whenever you want it, at granburytv.org. You can go on there. You can click on the football page on sports, and you can watch coaches' shows. You can watch football games just anytime you want. You can also watch us on Ustream on that same webpage. So you can get us.
They got it all.
If you want us, you can get us. And what better way to get your kicks than Granbury High School football is coming around. And we'll be back at a later date. Coach, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Glad to be
We'll
here.
be back with more on Granbury TV.